Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto was sent to the Marvel world. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. And also guys, stay in tune because after this I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto returned different after his training trip. And over on Anime King 2, I posted a brand new episode, a brand new series to be in fact, of What If Naruto's a Deceitful God. Go ahead and check it out and enjoy guys. And also, later on I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto's a Vampire. So stay in tune for that and I hope you guys do enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you enjoy guys. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last time we left off, Naruto arrived as he found Monica, as she was in charge of the study. As she saw Naruto and started to study him once he got there, as she wanted to see what he was capable of. She then snapped her fingers, as Harold, along with a woman that could turn her body into ice shield, a man that could produce fire, and another woman who was firing attacks at Naruto appeared. As she told them all to attack Naruto, which they all did. But Naruto quickly subdued all of them, seeing that none of them were on his level. It was then that Mordok appeared, as he went into Naruto's mind, as he appeared in front of Kurama's cage, as Naruto simply turned one of his truth-seeking orbs into a spear, and fired right through Mordok's head. As Mordok was blown out of his mind, as Naruto then created a clone to get everyone out of here. All of the people who are innocent. As he then walked over to Monica, as he grabbed her by the throat and started to squeeze her throat rather tight, as she thought that Mordok had taken over Naruto's mind. But he failed, as Naruto picked her up as he's going to destroy everything that she's worked for, everything that she's worked so hard for, as Naruto created Kurama, as he then stepped out of the KCM. As it worked, Naruto has been working on this, so him and Kurama could fight separately. As Naruto descended up into the air, Kurama then created a Biju bomb mixed with the Rasen Shuriken and destroyed the entire base. As Naruto then descended down with Monica, as he placed her on the ground. She has done so many things. She doesn't deserve to live. She said it was all for the humanity race. But this was all for her sick, twisted ambitions. As he pulled out the gun, bang! Naruto then arrived back at Gabrielle, as she was taken through a portal as she got back to her old house with her son, as she asked Naruto he should leave now, as Naruto didn't question it, seeing that it was basically his fault why they were here. They were after him. As Naruto looked down at Charles one last time as he said his goodbyes, he then felt someone pressing against his mind as Harold said goodbye Naruto. As Naruto and Magic left, they then arrived at the shack where the man was supposed to be, called Gateway, but he wasn't there. It seems that Naruto was too late after all. But Naruto has a new goal now. He's been lacking on this world, as he should protect it after all. Protect the innocents that were in trouble. As Magic said that he could work for money, be a gun for hire or something like that, but in a good way. Some time passed, months, as Naruto arrived to a drug dealer location and disbanded all of the drug dealers. As he was looking on the news, Captain America was running around the world, saving people. A man then entered as he told Naruto that Clint told him that he was remarkable, but he had to see for his own eyes as Naruto asked him who he is. As the man felt like Thor, but lesser. As the man told Naruto his name was Loki, and he's the new god of this world. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the page and check it out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. Loki looked at Naruto as he started to walk towards him after introducing himself. And what exactly do you want, Naruto asked? Well, you're going to start to work for me now, Loki said, as his cane became enveloped in a spear of light before it turned into a spear-like weapon. As he raised it up, intending to place it on Naruto's chest, but Naruto grabbed it. I don't know what the hell you think you're doing, but I can tell you right now, it's not gonna fly. Oh really? Loki said, as he tried to put some strength into it, trying to make his spear make contact with Naruto's chest, but it wasn't even budging in the slightest. Is that all you got, Naruto asked? Alright, my turn, he said, as he forced the blade away from him, as he then grabbed the spear end and forcefully pushed back Loki. You're almost as much of a brute as my brother, Loki said. Perhaps I was going about this all wrong. As he then looked up with a smile. Why would I have to get control of your mind when I have the very thing that you have been looking for so desperately for all these years? Leaning forward, he whispered, the Tesseract. The next second, Loki was slammed into the wall as his body created a dent. What the hell did you just say? Naruto said, as Loki smirked. The Tesseract, the cube, whatever you call it, it is in my possession. How did you get it? Naruto asked. From Shield, of course. What? Said Naruto, as Loki's smile grew. Yes, I took the Tesseract from Shield a couple days ago. According to Barton and Selvey, they have been trying to figure out how it worked for decades. How strange that they wouldn't let you know about it. Decades? Naruto said. How does that make you feel? Loki asked, his staff glowing. Angry? Furious? Betrayed? How do you feel to know that the people you have been working for years now have been lying to you all the time, telling you that the thing that can send you home is lost, but it has been in their hands for 50 years now? Or about your flame, your woman, Agent Romanoff? As Naruto had a confused look on his face, as Loki's smile grew even more. Oh, that's right. You don't know. Well, let me tell you. Her affections towards you are only orders given to her by her superiors. The love you share are orders. All for them to watch you, to make sure you stay in line, to make sure you could be controlled. Kurama, you were right, Naruto thought. You were goddamn right. All these betrayals, all these lies. Please allow me to give you some truth. This planet, these earthlings, are ants. They scurry along the ground, gathering what they could survive, building their cities, gathering their food, but in the end, their life matter a little in our eyes. Those who have the power to squash these ants under our heel. And then they claim us to be the monsters and try to wipe us out because of fear. But when we backlash on them and exterminate them, they call us the brute, the aliens, the disgusting beings, the monsters. As he looked at the broken Naruto, help me conquer these ants and you can finally go home. Naruto, Kurama said, as Naruto wasn't saying anything. I have already defeated these world protectors, the metal man, the soldier, and that green beast. That just leaves the last piece of puzzle. I was planning on including you in their demise. But after all, the juicy gossip, Clint, share with me, and the fact that I lost so many pieces already, I knew that I had to have you on my side. Feeling the grip loosen, Loki took his chance as he pressed his staff on Naruto's chest, allowing the power to flow through Naruto's body. And now you're mine, Loki said. Release me so we can leave. The invasion, it's time for it to start. Selvig has probably opened the portal by now. As Naruto still didn't move. Did you not hear me? Let go of me, fool, said Loki, as his new slave was not listening to his orders. Was that supposed to do something? Naruto whispered. Loki looked at Naruto in utter shock, as he was about to try to cast Naruto on his spell once again, but his body was pulled from the wall with so much force. As Naruto then turned him and started running him through wall after wall, as Loki could only see blurs. After a non-stop run of flying through wood and foundation, Loki found him and Naruto outside, as they were in mid-air. As Naruto drove him down into the ground and slammed his fist right into Loki's face. You think you can screw with me? Naruto screamed, as he slammed his fist down again, as the concrete behind Loki's head cracked with the force. You think by telling me all of this, that I'll work for someone like you? Huh? But I know you weren't lying. I could feel it, Naruto said, as a tear formed at the corner of his eye. But even then, I would never do this crap that you're talking about. I would kill myself before I become the very monster I nearly die fighting against. As Naruto infused his fist with chakra and pulled it back, but then a huge explosion went off as Naruto looked towards the side, as it was from a beam that shot in the sky and ripped open a portal. A wave of creatures started to come down below, igniting the city on fire. As Naruto looked down at Loki, as Loki had a bloody grin, as he coughed up some blood. It has begun, he said. Stop it! Stop it now, Naruto demanded. It has already begun. There is no stopping it now. As Naruto saw a few of those men on those flying machines, destroying cars and people running in panic. As he looked up to see Tony, trying to destroy as many of those aliens as he could. As Naruto saw 5 laser beams coming at him as he jumped away. As it was just a distraction as Loki jumped on one of them, the hover cart, as he zoomed towards Stark Tower. Naruto was about to fly after him when several more blasts of beams came after him as he jumped away. Looking above him, he saw a pair of aliens rushing towards him on their chariots. Anger still in his mind, Naruto had no patience for them. As he extended both of his hands forward, he then slammed the both of them in together with his metal release. Now on a roll, Naruto jumped up in the air as he started to rip each and every one of them apart, using his metal release to crash them into the ground, creating a sickening boom. As Naruto saw a huge flash of light as it was coming from Stark Tower, as Loki must be up there fighting. He then noticed a Queen jet as it was blasting whatever was on top of the building. But the effort was for naught as it was quickly shot down as the plane started to spiral down below. Naruto was about to activate 6-pass stage mode when he heard a roar as he saw a giant worm-like creature coming out of the hole with the size of his mouth like a whale. You gotta be kidding me, he said. Meanwhile, a woman was running on the road screaming as the sky just suddenly opened up and these creatures, Joy, get inside, as she looked to see her brother with blood leaking on his face. But now, he said, as she ran into the Starbucks, as she looked inside to see other people in there as they were scared. As her brother came in right behind her. What the hell is going on, Ward? She asked. Ward rubbed the back of his head. Do you really think I know what the hell is going on? Well, what the hell, as Joy was interrupted as the side of the building exploded as both of them were pushed to the ground with great force. As Joy heard screaming as she looked up to see 2 aliens enter the Starbucks as they started to fire on everyone who was still alive. Blast after blast, scream after scream, the aliens executed everyone who tried to take shelter. Finally, the aliens pointed their rifle towards Joy and Ward. But suddenly, the alien that pointed his gun at Joy, his head was smashed with one hit as his body was sent flying. She then watched as a man sent a fist towards the other alien as a force blew the alien away. As she looked to see a man standing there, his bright blue eyes staring back at her. As she looked at him, he was wearing a brown jacket and an orange t-shirt underneath it that read, WTF, where is the food? She would have laughed if she wasn't in this kind of situation right now. As the man started to help her sit up, she then winced in pain as there was a glass in her side. Where does it hurt? He asked. My side, she said. As the man's hand was enveloped in a yellow fire, Joy, seeing him reaching for her, reached out and grabbed him with instinct. Don't worry, he said. This won't hurt you. Joy didn't know why this man was a stranger, but she felt like she could trust this strange man. So she nodded, as she felt a warmness enter over her once he touched her. But then pain as he pulled out the glass, as she screamed. Hey! What the hell are you doing to my sister, asshole? Ward asked. As he slowly got up and made his way over to them. Get the hell away from her. Now! Alright, I'm backing off. As he got up, as Joy raised up her blouse to see, there was no cut there. Ward looked up to see the man as he put an earpiece in his ear. Hey, Tony, it's me. I am on 3rd Street. Alright, I'll try to meet up with everyone. He then walked forward as he spoke. You guys have somewhere safe to go. Now, hold on a second, said Ward as he got up from his sister. What the hell is going on? What is going on out there? As far as what is going on out there, I have no clue. All I know is that I'm gonna end it. Who are you? Asked Joy, as he turned towards her with a smile. Usually, I would lie and say my name is Nathan or something, but screw it. As his body became enveloped by yellow fire, a symbol spread across his torso and his arm. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, Genin of Konoha, the child of prophecy and the savior of my world. With that introduction, Naruto raised above the ground, and now I shall be your savior of this world as well. As he then blasted towards the battle, ripping through an alien as he did. Ward looked at Joy as he was confused. Did you catch what any of that meant? He asked. Meanwhile, Naruto's flying to the city at top speed, blasting any alien he come by, as his 6th stage mode was at 100% as his Truth Seeker orbs were behind him, as he then called one of them to his arm as he turned into a bow staff. As he used his staff to obliterate anything that came in his path, he used his other hand to create Rasengan, tiny Rasengan that he blasted off with his finger. As he saw a squad of aliens trying to attack the people below, as Naruto dropped down, as the street cracked under his feet. As a woman was about to get impaled by one of the alien staff, Naruto appeared in front of the alien with bursts of speed, as he grabbed the alien by the head and smashed it into the ground. 2 others run at him, as Naruto ducked under their staff. He grabbed them by the throat, as he smashed the both of their heads together and threw them away. He then saw 2 hovercraft coming at him, as he used his magnet release and slammed the both of them in together, as they exploded. He then saw 6 more of them coming, as Naruto pointed his hand like a handgun, as he started to blast off wind bullets, as the wind bullets tear through their head, their stomach, and their chest, killing them instantly. Naruto then saw a huge squad coming as he created a clone. The clone released a wind attack as Naruto spewed out fire, as the fire and wind combined released a stream of incredible flames that swallowed up everything in its path, incinerating the aliens. Naruto then saw a handful of them land a distance away. He was about to finish them off when an arrow shot the middle one, and then the arrow started to blink as it exploded, killing the rest of them in the process. As Naruto turned to see Clint behind the car, as he gave Naruto a nod, but Naruto ignored it, as an alien came to his left, but Naruto backhanded the alien in the face so hard that his neck snapped upon impact as he was sent flying. As Naruto noticed one of the aliens was about to attack Clint from behind as he was focusing on the one in front of him. As Naruto used a wind bullet and burst right through the alien's head. Keep your eye open, Hawkeye, Naruto said. My bad, said Clint. Where have you been, man? Nat has been calling you. Naruto did not answer as he was too busy swatting off the cockroach-like aliens. As another large group appeared in front of him, as Naruto clenched his fists, he then dashed forward as he slammed his fist into the first one's face, as his entire face was sinking because of the punch. Naruto then brought his feet down and slammed it into the ground as the entire area in front of him shook. He then raised his hand as a massive Rasengan form as he drove it down on them, killing all of them. Where the hell are these things coming from? He asked. As Naruto heard a growl as he turned to see another alien, twice as big as the others. The thing then rushed towards him as steam came from Naruto's palm. Boiling release, eruption, fist. Naruto's fist hit the alien right in the chest. The thing then exploded in a shower of blue blood splattering over him. Was that really necessary? As Naruto turned to see Steve Rogers behind him, wearing a modified, skimpy version of his uniform. Is that costume necessary? Naruto asked. Looking down at himself, Steve used his free hand to pull at his clothes. It's not that bad, is it? He asked. No, Naruto said. It's just a little tight, that's all. You're telling me. As Naruto turned to see Natasha, as she was walking over to them, why bother asking Shield for a phone if you're not going to answer it? She said to Naruto. Naruto was about to tell her to screw off as Kurama stopped him. Save the city now, deal with her later. Remember what's important. As Naruto then scoffed as he turned around so he wasn't facing her. Hey, what's the matter? But then, a lightning bolt shot down to the ground, wiping out a group of aliens that were coming towards them, as it was the god of thunder himself, Thor. As he walked over to them, what's the story upstage? Steve asked. The power guarding the cube is impenetrable, said Thor. Tony then zoomed by, chariot rider, on hot pursuit. Thor is right, we gotta deal with these guys. How do we do this? Natasha asks. As a team, said Captain America. Hey, who's the dork on the bike? Naruto asks, as he saw the man ride on the bike, coming up to them. He then looked Naruto up and down. Who's the new guy? A friend, said Captain. So, this all seem horrible? Said Bruce. As Naruto shrugged, I've seen worse. When a single guy turned an entire city into a crater, call me. Stark, we got him, Steve said as he pressed his earpiece. Banner, Stark said. Yeah. Tell him to suit up then. I'm bringing the party to you. It was then that Tony zoomed past the building as a massive whale with the armor on was following him. As a smile came on Naruto's face. Now that's what I'm talking about. As Banner walked forward, Dr. Banner, now might be a good time to get angry. Let me tell you my secret, Cap. I'm always angry, he said as he turned towards the giant whale coming towards him. As Naruto saw the man transform into Hulk, as he slammed his fist into the creature's face, as it was pushing him back until the body flipped over. Got it, Naruto said as he swung his arms out, as chakra arms extended and grabbed the tail, as Tone then fired rockets and destroyed it. Oh crap, Naruto said as he looked over to Hulk. That was awesome. Why didn't anyone tell me that this guy was a Hulk? The Hulk didn't get to react to Naruto, as all of the aliens were now coming towards them, as everyone circled up as he saw the rest of the aliens coming. A sudden boom came from the portal, as all of them looked up to see more whale-like creatures coming, along with the guys with the chariot. Call it, Captain, said Tony. Alright, Steve said. Listen up. Until we can close that portal, our priority is containment. Clint, I want you on the rooftop. Eyes on everything, call out patterns and strays. Stark, you got the perimeter. Anything more than 3 blocks, you turn it back or turn to ash. Get a lift, said Hawkeye, as Stark nodded as he grabbed him and they flew up into the air. He then turned towards Naruto and Thor. Thor, you gotta try to stop that portal. At least slow them down. You got that lightning. Light the bastards up. He then spun his hammer as he went up into the air. Naruto, do you think you can take on the big guys? As the massive alien was tearing apart any building they came across. I got just the thing, Naruto said, as he bent his knees and jumped up. As he flew towards a massive beast, he created 8 clones, each of them in Sage Path 6 mode, but missing the truth-seeking orbs. Coming to a stop, the 9 of them raised their arms above their heads, each of them having a different Biju's chakra, as each of them used a different Rasen Shuriken, from sand to blue flames, stream, lava, water, scaly powder, ink, and finally wind. Sage Art! Super Tail Beast Rasen Shuriken! Boom! Explosions went off as the giant creatures were blown to pieces out of the air, as their flesh and their guts were spread as it was raining down. As Naruto saw Thor using his lightning to slow down the monsters from coming out, as Hulk was ripping them as he was jumping in building after buildings, tearing apart the creatures. As Naruto smirked as he watched the green rage machine tearing apart every alien that came in his path. As Naruto saw Hulk jump on one of the giant whales, as he didn't want to miss out on the fun, so he flied over and landed on the back. As 5 aliens, the smaller ones, rushed towards him, as Naruto turned the truth-seeking orbs into the blades, as he started to slice right through them, cutting them down. As Naruto looked over to see Thor had landed on the creature as well, assisting the Hulk. Hulk then ripped off a piece of the creature and drive it down into the creature's head, as Thor then channeled lightning and slammed down the piece straight into the creature. Not wanting to be left out of the fun, Naruto used his truth-seeking balls as they started to spin like a drill, as he came down and drilled right in the object, as he pierced right through the alien's skull. As Naruto found himself falling down to the ground, as he turned his truth-seeking orbs in to spikes below him, as he landed on a couple of aliens, piercing right through them. As Naruto then got up out of the crater that he created by a truth-seeking orb, as he looked over towards the Stark Tower to see Loki over there, he was about to blast off when a ray slammed right into him. As Naruto turned to see several of the hulky-looking creatures, all of them surrounding him, knowing that he was one of the heavy hitters. As Naruto spread out his orbs swallowed and obliterated everything that it touched. As Naruto dashed over to the tower, as he saw the Hulk standing over Loki. Upon further inspection, it looked like Loki was slammed into the ground multiple times by the Hulk. As Naruto walked over and poked Loki, "I think you broke him." Hulk then started to walk away. "Puny god," he said, as he then jumped and went back outside. As Naruto looked around the room to see, it was mainly destroyed. Naruto then felt it, a power source, as he got up and walked. As he went outside to see Loki's staff with something at the top, and it was glowing a bright blue. As he held onto it, it was then he felt a pull on his subconscious, like when he entered his mindscape with Kurama. As Naruto allowed himself to be pulled through, as he found himself in a strange, new place. As Naruto found himself in space, it looked like space, as he was sitting on some kind of an asteroid. As he gazed up into the stars, as he saw the vast space above him, as comets flew by and the planets overhead. As Naruto saw some stairs as he walked up them, as he had the staff in his hand going up the stairs, as Kurama was really quiet. He then saw a massive throne, the chair meant for a king, as he was then stopped when a hooded man blurred into his personal space, as the creature was ugly, its wrinkled grey skin and its crooked golden teeth causing Naruto to flinch in disgust. Its face covered by a strange looking mask that reminded him of a football player, the rest of it being covered by a hood. "Where is the Asgardian, mortal? Why is it that you're wielding our scepter?" Naruto did not respond as he looked over the hooded man's shoulder to the person sitting on the throne, who hasn't even moved an inch. As he looked back at the hooded guy, "You ever think about wearing a mask that cover that disgusting face of yours? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, that whole football thing you have on, it isn't working." "You dare mock me, you pathetic mortal? Do you not know whose presence you are in? This is the sanctuary of the Dark Lord, Thanos, the most powerful and greatest being in the universe. Now tell us who you are, and why you are here and not the Asgardian Loki, or we shall teach you what happened when you disrespect the Mad Titan." "So, I'm assuming that you were the one who gave Loki the army and the whole scepter thing, right? Well, they weren't that really tough." The creature looked Naruto over as he then chuckled. "So, Loki has failed. Not only that, but to fail to conquer such a primitive planet such as this? How pitiful. Perhaps we should have sent Nebula or Gamora, rather than to rely on that pitiful weak god." Other, enough talking, as the throne started to spin around, revealing the person sitting down on it. As the man was in a purple and gold armor. The man was massive, about twice the size of Naruto himself, but just a head shorter than the Hulk, with obvious muscles, even showing hidden underneath his armor. As his skin was a light purple with wrinkles on his face, and he had lines running up from his chin. Other quickly bowed his head in obedience. "Of course, my master. I'm sorry, my master. Leave us," Thanos said, his head resting on his chin as he stared at Naruto. "Of course, my master. Right away," Other said, as he quickly leave. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at Thanos, "Why use Loki to get the Tesseract? Why not just come and get it yourself if you're the most powerful being in the universe?" Thanos chuckled, "Because I saw an easy manipulated child who saw the glory of being king, even though he's dealing with a being who could destroy him with a flick of his wrist. All I needed to do was provide him with a small fraction of my army, but in return he gave me the Space Stone. But to put it simple, it was just entertainment." Naruto narrowed his eyes at the mad tyrant. "So your invasion on Earth was just for entertainment, for you to get the Space Stone as a bonus? Are you truly that arrogant to think that you can get the stone at any time?" Thanos smirked. "I have fought beings more powerful than you could even imagine, boy. You and your band of Avengers are mere playthings to me. If I felt the need, I could have simply taken the stone the moment the energy burst across the cosmos. Be glad that you haven't pushed me so far that I would feel the need to retrieve the stone myself. Because if it ever comes to that, I will crush this solar system under the heel of my power." "Well then, it looks like I found a new purpose," Naruto said. "And what would that be, boy?" Naruto sent his smirk as he rested Loki's staff on his shoulder. "Stopping you, of course." As Thanos smirked. "I await for your challenge, Naruto Uzumaki." As Naruto felt his subconscious blast out of this world as he snapped his eyes open. Naruto! Naruto! As he looked over to see Natasha standing there with a worried look on her face as she screamed his name out. As she looked worse for wear, blood running down her lip and her forehead and scars marks all over her. Naruto, we need the scepter to close the portal, Natasha said. As Naruto looked at her, as he wasn't paying attention, as he felt the sudden urge of betrayal by the woman who he loved. Naruto, where have you been? I've been trying to get through to you. For 5 minutes now, Kurama said. I'll tell you later, Naruto said. As he handed the scepter to Natasha, as she looked at him for his odd behavior. Naruto, are you alright? She asked. You're scaring me. Naruto turned away from her. We should finish this, he said. As she just followed behind him, as the both of them headed up to the roof, where the scientist was waiting for them, as he pointed out where he wanted Natasha to put the scepter. As she pushed, as he was pushing through the portal, as he fight her off, but she pushed hard until the scepter was closed. I can close it, can anyone copy? I can shut the portal down, she said. Do it, Steve said. No, wait, said Tony. Stark, what are you talking about? I got a nuke coming in, and it's gonna blow in less than a minute, said Stark. Naruto looked over to where Stark fly off. Who the hell ordered a nuclear launch? The Security Council ordered a strike, as Naruto immediately recognized the voice. Belonging to Fury, and you didn't do anything to stop it. There are millions of civilians in this city, Naruto shouted. Don't you think I know that, Fury said. I did my best, but they went over my head. Yeah, well, Stark said, I know where to put it. Stark, that's a one-way trip, said Steve. It was too late, however, as Tony pushed the missile up past the tower, as it started to go up with him. As Naruto watched Tony sacrificing his life, as he mumbled, the true measure of a shinobi is not how they live, but how they die. It's not what they did in life, but what they do before dying that prove their worth. Naruto, said Natasha, did you say something? As Naruto didn't even look at her, as his eyes were on the portal, as the nuke exploded like a miniature sun. All around them, the ships fell to the ground like they had been shut off. Close it, Steve said. Natasha quickly shoved the blade into the cube as the light shut off. Soon the portal started to close up, but then a tiny speck, a person, started to fall through. Son of a gun, Steve said, as it was Tony. As Naruto realized he wasn't moving, he was probably unconscious, but before he could do anything, he heard a roar as the Hulk jumped on a building and jumped up and grabbed him. As Naruto descended on the ground, as Hulk put Tony down, turning Tony over, Thor tear off the front part of his mask, showing his face. Steve went down to check if he was breathing, but he got back up with a remorse look on his face. Naruto was about to see what he could do when Hulk beat him to the punch, as he let out a mighty roar. Dude, seriously, Naruto said, as he rubbed his ears as Hulk screamed so loud, but Hulk just beat his chest like a gorilla. What the hell, Tony said. Please tell me no one kissed me. As Steve let out a dry chuckle. We won. Alright, yeah, good job guys, Tony said. Let's not come in tomorrow, okay? He then looked over at Naruto. You ever had shawarma? He asked. There's a good shawarma place, 2 blocks over. Wanna try it? Naruto just smirked as his 6-path stage mode vanished, as he then collapsed on his butt. If they sell ramen, I'm down. Do you have any idea how long it has been since I've gotten any good ramen? There's such a thing as good ramen? Tony asked. Time skip. Everything was okay, as the Tesseract was in Thor's possession, with Loki safely in prison, as the group that is calling themselves the Avengers are celebrating. As Naruto didn't take part in it, someone then came up behind him. Why are you not joining in the celebrations? Thor asked, as he had 2 beer in his hand. You were a part of the great battle as well. Naruto shrugged as he took the beer, as he took a sip. Just a lot on my mind. As he then looked over at Clint and Natasha, who were at a table, chatting. He then looked over at Thor. So you're planning on taking the Tesseract to Asgard? Thor nodded. There it can be kept safe from the likes of Loki. And what of the people that helped Loki? Asked Naruto. As Thor laughed. Should they show their faces, we the people of Asgard shall smite them down. But what if these people are more than you guys can handle? Thor looked at Naruto with a look of suspicion on his face. What are you saying, my friend? Well, I might have met the guy that gave Loki his army, and he's no joke. His lackey called him the most powerful being in the universe. And you believe these lackey words? That is quite the claim to make, Thor said. Trust me, Thor, this guy was bad news. The power he was giving off is one that I've never felt in a long time. As Naruto said this, an image of Mother Uchiha popped in his mind. Then what do you suggest? Thor asked. As Naruto took a moment, I think it would be safer in the hand of a single person. Someone that could keep this stone safe, out of sight, out of mind, and fight against anyone this guy sent. As Thor looked at Naruto, and who would you suggest? Me, Naruto said. My friend, surely you're Jess, asked Thor. Better in my hands than off in some vault that can be broken into at any time. As you remember the story told by Thor not too long ago with Loki and him at Asgard. And what would you do with the stone, other than send yourself home with it? Thor asked. You're right when you say I plan to use it to get home, but that is just to see what happened with my two eyes there. When I'm done, I'll make it my mission to find the rest of the stones, and if they're not in safe hands, I will put them in my own. And when this man come for you, and he will if you go through these schemes of yours, what will you do? Thor asked. Well, Naruto said, if I can't handle it on my own. As he looked around at the team, then I know who to call for help. Thor then looked Naruto up and down. Do I have your word you will protect it with your life? Naruto nodded. You have my word. Then you have my word, Thor said. I will come to your aid in your request, if you require it. As Thor then extended his hand, as the both of them did a handshake. Thor then raised his glass out. To Coulson, he said. As Naruto smiled a sad smile to remember that his friend had died trying to stop Loki. Had Naruto known of that, he would have killed Loki back then. As both him and Thor clinked their glass together as they tugged back the beer, and then they put down the glass as Thor gave Naruto a beer hug and walked over to the team. So what now? Asked Nick as he came behind Naruto. As Naruto turned, as Nick was about to say something again, but Naruto punched him right in the face as he fell to the ground. As Naruto walked over to him, that's for lying about the Tesseract. As Naruto kneeled down and grabbed him by the collar of his turned coat, bringing him up so they were face to face. Why? Naruto said. Why would you lie about that when you knew what was happening on my planet? I might have been able to do something back then. I was only gone for a week. But you had to lie. You had to make sure I was trustworthy, even though my people might have died. As tears were rolling down Naruto's face, as Steve wanted to break it up, but Tony and Bruce held him back. And then you made Natasha spy on me and make her got close. You had me thinking that she loved me, all so I could be kept in line. Was I truly that untrustworthy? Was I truly that much of a threat? After all I did to help you in your organization, all the people I killed for you, were any of the friendship I formed here genuine? Natasha, Clint, Phil, did any of them consider yourself my friend? Or would you just order to stay near me and watch me so you can keep me in control? Naruto shouted. Huh? Naruto said as he turned and looked at Clint. Of course you're my friend. The same go for Coulson, Clint said. As Naruto looked at Natasha's face, as he saw pure guilt, as he then turned back to look at Nick. As Naruto took a calm breath. I'm done with you, he said, as he released him as he fell to the floor. As Naruto walked out. Time skip, Naruto was in the small room, the Tesseract in his hand, as he could feel the power coming from inside of the cube. That's just a container for the actual stone. You will have to break it out, said Kurama. Naruto nodded and was about to enter 6-path sage mode, but when he felt a familiar presence at the doorway. As the door slid open, as Natasha stepped in slowly. As she then stopped just a foot away from Naruto, her staring at his back, as he didn't even move. But guys, that'll be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But for now, I'm out of here. Peace, guys.